Hello, and welcome to Inside Sweet Tooth, where we take a look at some of the people that make Sweet Tooth possible. Today we have Loree Sanders. Hi, Loree.
Hi.
I mean, Sandler. What did I say? Sanders? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. As our live policy, we don't go back. But
I'm good with it.
We got it right now. Okay. And she's the creator of the chocolate candle, which I have some right here. I was going to show some more later. But so, Loree, tell us first a little bit about just what chocolate candle is.
So they are birthday candles or celebration candles that you can light and eat.
Okay. That's basically, yeah, basically. Anyway, we saw it and we thought, this is great stuff, how did you, what was your inspiration for coming up with this whole thing?
So my background is architecture. I have a master's in architecture, and I stayed home to raise 3 sons. And when the youngest hit his 12th birthday, it was very bittersweet. It was sort of like the last hurrah. None of my boys wanted their parents around at parties after that. So I was watching the wax candles sort of decimate this cake that we had baked together. And I thought, well, here's the last product on the planet that hasn't been tweaked or optimized. I bet, how hard can that be? That was sort of my thought. I mean, prior to that, I had dabbled in other ideas that I had. So I had been out of architecture so long, I wouldn't have hired myself to be an architect. So I didn't really leave the profession with an idea towards an on-ramp, but I did always know that I wanted to do something. And so, I would have an idea and I would take it just far enough until it needed a really big investment or, a big compromise. And then I would back off and say, well, this isn't worthwhile. But finally, I saw these I envisioned chocolate candles, and I thought, well, this thing, I think it could have legs. Like, I could probably do something like this myself. I didn't think there would be a lot of middlemen involved. And, I was wrong, as many people with ideas come to find. I mean, it took a very long time, is what I should say. I enrolled in classes in Chicago at the French Pastry School and the Chocolate Academy. How do I work with chocolate? Who makes custom molds? How would I package something like this? So it was a really steep learning curve. And, I just kept putting one foot in front of the other. My husband, my partner, said at a certain point when I was like, oh, this is really hard and I don't know if it'll work. And he's like, you've until the marketplace tells you this isn't going to work, you keep at it. Because, I just kept investing more time and money and energy, and until here we are.
Yeah, that's really, it's kind of amazing since candles have been around for a long time, and it's the only part that you couldn't eat and of a cake. So yeah, I'm glad you were the one who came up with it.
Thank you.
Now, so did that took a pretty long time probably to.
It took a very long time.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of iterations before I got to the size and the shape and the way that this one is made. So there were some early efforts. Some of them were, I thought, really beautiful, but very, very complicated to make. So yeah, this is what works.
Yeah, well, I think it works out well. So I was reading a little bit about you. Back in 2014, you were a finalist in the Martha Stewart's American Made contest. Now, what was that all about?
Well, I had known about the contest, and I don't remember what product I had seen that had sort of a sticker on it or a stamp. And I just thought, well, my product kind of meets the criterion for this contest, and let me just see what it takes. I just thought, in my fantasy of fantasies, I could see it sort of on the cover of her magazine, or, on her beautiful cakes in a cookbook, or, somewhere. It sort of screamed of a DIY project that had some innovation and creativity. So I applied for it, and they had, different categories. And then it was really became about almost about social media marketing of myself, because it was really a get out the vote thing as much as anything. But at the very, very end of the contest, maybe I can't remember how long in advance things started to roll out where you could vote every day, and I would post it to Facebook, and then it would sort of like friends would send it to other friends, my parents' friends would, and people would send me ideas. Well, you should put it here, and you should try to get, votes from over there. And all of a sudden, it's the end of this period of time. Let's just call it 30 days. I don't remember what it was. And it dawned on me that I should have sent my product to the judges. Like, there's no rule against it, and it hadn't occurred to me to do it. And so I sent samples to a few of the judges. One of them was a cook show host that I loved the cooking show, and one was Martha herself. And I got responses. I mean, it was like, this is really terrific. I hope you have great success with this product. And that was just a fun thing to hear from real, they're real people, and they were intrigued.
Yeah, that's great. That is very good. It sounds like you're becoming an expert in this, and people can come to you to find out how to get their products through the chain there. Now, what about Good Morning America digital version? What is the deal with that?
So once I got to the point, initially I was making everything by hand at a commercial kitchen that I was renting space in. And it was very, very labor intensive and time consuming to make the product. And eventually there was enough demand that I was able to find a manufacturing partner, which required me to get different packaging and different molds to use on bigger equipment. And wait, all of a sudden I'm answering a question that I don't remember. Oh, the Good Morning America. So that allowed me to go to trade shows, because then I could meet bigger customers' demands. And so we were signed up at the Fancy Food Show. That's one of the big gourmet trade shows, which is such great fun if you've ever had the opportunity to attend a show like that.
We've always planned on doing it.
You would love it. Sadly, they just canceled the fall one, so we haven't been in a little while, but I got an email a couple of weeks before one of the Fancy Food shows, and they said, we would like to stop at your booth and interview you and profile your product. Will someone be there? Is that something that would work? And, oh my God, of course, yes, we'll be there. We want to talk to you. And so I said before, my partner, who's my husband, Bob, he calls me the chair of the sales prevention team, because I'm not a very good salesperson, but he's a good salesperson, and he loves it. And he's like, let's practice. What are you going to say? Have you thought about it? And of course I hadn't thought about it. But they could not have been lovelier people that came to the booth. And so Bob said, how many people are you talking to? Is this, where will we find it? And they said, well, we really just picked out about the 5 most innovative products that we saw that were going to be at the show. And that was just unbelievably, like, what an honor. There are thousands and thousands of products at these shows. So
sure,
that was really cool.
Yeah, that is good. I think I saw part of it. Is Bob in the video also?
He is, of course.
Because I saw, I thought, hey, this guy's pretty good, And not that you're not, but others before I saw yours. But yeah, I thought, well, he's, he was very good at it.
He thinks in advance. What are people interested in? What do they want to hear? And I think in advance, like, what am I apologizing for? What doesn't work well about this?
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Let me ask you too. Just, I mean, I know you're thinking about dabbling in exporting. Are you doing that yet?
We have done a very little bit of exporting. So we the first real export that we did was we were approached by a distributor, the Swedish distributor for Jelly Belly. And she said that a customer of hers had requested our product. And true to my form, I said, well, we don't export. And Bob said, of course we would export, but tell her the minimum would be a pallet. And at that time, I didn't even know what a pallet meant. Like, that just sounded like so many candles. How would that ever work? But it was Jeff, it was a lot of work to get ready. And it was, again, a really a great exercise in learning. Because it's a food product, there are, I think, extra hoops that you have to jump through, but it required, revising my packaging so that the ingredients were in the right languages. And in the end, it didn't. She ended up stickering that over. But, you know, all of the things that we thought we were going to need to do, and I was introduced to, you know, freight forwarders and international brokers, and it was a very difficult project that took months and months. I would say the biggest silver lining to come out of that was some of the people that helped me, and what you do learn from an export project, at least what I learned. I'm a member at a food incubator here in Chicago called the Hatchery, and it's terrific group of people, and they give education in all different, you know, from startup to more established food businesses. And when I said to the I forget if she's CEO or president there, Natalie, who has become a friend, I was like, Natalie, I've been approached to export. Do you have anybody for me? And then she connected me to somebody at a small business associate, you know, like there are organizations that really are here to help. And so, you know, free of charge. And so that was wonderful. I was introduced to someone at in Chicago, it's called the ICNC. That was, I don't want to bog down in all these acronyms, but this man, Lauro, who helped me to export after we got the pallet, you know, just about out of the country, he said, I want you to enter this pitch contest, an export pitch contest. And I was like, why in the world would I do that? I've had one project that we don't even know if it'll be successful or not. And he talked me into doing it. And the woman at the Export Import Bank, who I had also worked with, similarly hooked me up with someone who had won the contest the previous year, and everyone was encouraging me. So I entered this export pitch contest, and I took second place in that, which it was really like, so you got one of those ginormous, you know, checks to hold up, which is, you know, almost as much fun as getting the real money. But and that also connected me to UPS was one of the sponsors, so I got international UPS credits. So we have done another small export project to Canada, but it's not on the list of the things that I'm trying to pursue. I'm more interested right now. I'm working on a line extensions of chocolate cake toppers that I'm really excited about. So that's sort of where I'm trying to put my energy.
Well, that was my last question to you was what's next? Now, what are those chocolate cake toppers?
So they'll be similar to the candles. The candles come in milk and dark chocolate, and they have patterns on one of the faces, which is a colored cocoa butter. So they have different designs on those. So the cake toppers won't have a wick, so they will be more year-round, any celebration friendly. And they're right now I'm looking at different shapes. One is sort of a starburst shape. One spells out the word love, and another is HBD for happy birthday with a little gift next to it. And I'm really excited, but again, this is, we're months away from getting there. I didn't recognize the challenges with molding for these various shapes. So I'm learning a lot from my co-packer, and we'll get there. So I anticipate those being the 3 shapes, and we'll see. Stay tuned.
Yeah, that sounds great. Certainly sounds something right up our alley. Well, that is great. Well, thank you so much. Let me just show some of these, all these different, I think it's 4 or 5 different ones. Some in milk chocolate, some in dark chocolate. And we did our little Wacky Wednesday bit on. I think you saw that, and it all works as planned. We didn't rehearse it at all, and everything, you know, everything seemed to work. So that was kind of nice, and good chocolate too.
It's very good chocolate. I mean, it's a premium product. And one thing that we've learned just from doing other shows is people expect these candles to function as other candles, and they do not. So you're not going to light it and have the chocolate melt all over your cake. The chocolate doesn't fuel the wick. So the wick is the part that burns. It's very short. So by the time you sing and blow it out, there's just a little nub, you just pluck right out, and then you eat the solid piece of chocolate.
Yeah, so that really works well. Thanks for explaining all that. Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us today.
Jeff, I'm just so excited to be part of your store and what you have to offer, and thank you for inviting me.
You are welcome, and hopefully we'll get some we'll give this another one. It gets a little cooler. we'll give this another push, and maybe we'll get some other publicity with some of the local things, some of the local
That'd be awesome.
entities here. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.